lightning campaign to raid Germanic lands before retreating in what amounted to a mere publicity stunt. However, it would be a prelude of things to come. The next encounter with the Germans occurred in 16 BC during the reign of Augustus, when several tribes crossed the Rhine into Gaul and defeated the legions sent against them. In response, Augustus would dispatch more forces that kicked off a decades-long struggle to tame the region. The effort featured numerous campaigns of intense fighting, which include the famous Battle of Teutoburg Forest and its aftermath, which we have covered in another series. Ultimately, outright conquest of Germania would be abandoned in favor of fortifying the frontier and periodically launching campaigns of intervention or retaliation to keep the region in check. The degree to which this was possible varied over time, and we see many revolts and divisions spilling out of the area in times when Rome's power waned. Yet, still throughout most of this period, imperial armies tended to come out ahead in pitched battle against Germanic warriors, thanks to their superior training, equipment, and support from heavy cavalry. However, we should also note that this success was also owed to the integration of Germanic forces into Rome's own armies over the years. The scales would eventually tip as the period of great migrations, starting around the 4th century AD, saw many Germanic tribes push into the lands of the empire. It's a fascinating period of history, well worth exploring, but which will unfortunately fall outside the scope of this particular episode. For now, I hope this overview of the history of Germanic warriors has helped dispel some of the simplistic stereotypes that often come up when discussing barbarian armies. Let us know what units of history you would like to see covered next. A big thanks to the patrons for funding the channel and to the researchers, writers, and artists for making this episode possible. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content and check out these other related videos.
Gaius Julius Caesar was a colossal figure who towered over his time and still casts a shadow on ours. Yet, as is often the case with such titans of the past, their lives are often condensed into a single scene. For Caesar, this is his most famous last act on the Ides of March, stabbed to death before the Senate by fellow Romans. Dramatic though this scene may be, we would however be remiss to read but this last chapter of his incredible story. In fact, as with Alexander the Great, he had a long history of cheating the Reaper. Today, we'll be reliving the 9 lives of Julius Caesar. A quick thanks to Magellan TV for sponsoring this episode. Caesar was born in 100 BC, the final century of the Roman Republic. These were troubled times. The grand power, which had emerged as top dog of the Mediterranean in 146 BC, was now succumbing to rot at its foundations. Rising economic inequality, the consolidation of power, and the deterioration of political norms created a vicious cycle that sparked increasingly deadly internal conflicts. As the peaceful transfer of power broke down, control of Rome was now seized by military might, with deadly consequences for the opposition. This alarming deconstruction of society resulted in horrors never before seen within the city. Among these were the proscriptions, a literal list posted in the form of all those who were to be hunted down and killed, their heads displayed as grisly warnings. At the age of 19, Caesar found himself on such a list. Though of little political relevance at the time, he was the nephew of Marius and had married the daughter of Cinna. Both of these connections placed him in the camp opposite Sulla, who had just taken Rome with his legions. As a part of the regime's reorganization of power, the dictator ordered young Julius Caesar to divorce his wife, a command he stubbornly refused. Notices were thus soon issued for his arrest, and he was forced to flee into the countryside. With a bounty on his head, Caesar became a fugitive, avoiding patrols and any who might betray him. As if things weren't bad enough, he apparently contracted malaria and was apprehended by a group of soldiers whilst moving between safe houses. Luckily,
attention, prepare for battle-like departure. Warning, hangar doors open. Stand clear.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
The rebel forces are hiding out somewhere on this planet. They should be operating out of a small residential settlement. I've marked the location on your battle grid.
Jump jet fuel low.
I'm detecting unidentified mechs in the area. Moving in to investigate.
Armored vehicle spotted.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
introduce yourself.
Target acquired.
You heard the commander. Take that target.
Engaging with enemy battle mech.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
The settlement is razed. This should be a definitive blow to the will of the rebel citizens. Hopefully, this is enough to satisfy our employer.